Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Tittle Tattle Tarot. It's Georgie. And in today's reading, I'm going to use my new Gilded Tarot. Lovely deck. And I'm going to christen it today with a reading about something I saw today. It was an interview between Nigel Farage and David Starkey, the historian. And I do like David Starkey, so I'm a great fan of his. They were talking about Harry, and one of the things that was mentioned was the Invictus Games. And David Starkey, a very wonderfully read man, very, very intelligent man, he was sort of saying about Invictus, and the word Invictus meaning undefeated, not a victim. And how telling is that? The Invictus Games, undefeated, not a victim. And who is it led by? It's led by the most victimized person, apparently, on this planet. Certainly defeated. So I want to know, from the athlete's point of view, I have read on this before, but I want to go deeper. I want to know what the athletes, these ex-military, these really brave men and women, what they think about Harry as their figurehead. These people who have suffered tremendous personal losses themselves. Some of them have lost limbs. Some of them are, in terrible PTSD, all kinds of things that I could never even comprehend. Some of the after effects they've gone through after this war. I want to know what these ex-military people, do they want Harry as their figurehead for this Invictus Games, this Invictus, undefeated, not a victim Games? Do they really want him? So let's see what the cards have to say. I'm going to pull three. Well, we've got the Empress, first of all. And then we have the Tower in reverse, and then we have the Eight of Wands in reverse. So the Empress is very kind energy. I think these men and women have been through so much. They don't have hate in their hearts. If I had all three of these upside down, then it would not be a good thing. But we have the Empress upright, and that is very much all four queens. It's loving energy, it's compassion, it's sort of earthy energy, and it's also the truth. So I think that they're very very balanced in what they think, really. I think that they've been through so much, these people, that the Empress is coming through, because let's face it, when you've been through what they have been through in a war, things like everyday stupidities of people probably pale into insignificance, don't they? The fact that this grown man is bemoaning that he had a smaller bedroom and that, was given one less sausage for breakfast. I mean, they probably just laugh at that. And they're being very sort of Empress-like by sort of, well, let's just forget this, because really his complaints are not anything of any importance. So I think that they're being very sort of Empress-like in that, very dignified and rising above it. But as far as their games go, the Tower in reverse, this is a bad situation. And regardless of everything, regardless of being sort of, fairly okay, we can accept the way he is, because we've seen a lot worse in war. They realize that this is a real critical moment for the games. It really has upended it. The Tower up this way, well, it's bad enough. It's bad enough up the right way. It's a disaster. The Tower's been struck by lightning. This can also represent the body. These are broken people in many cases. They're brave and they're very strong now, but at some stage their body and mind has been broken. And their way of dealing with it has been through the Invictus Games, through training. So, you can see that this is like an injured body. and which they have repaired and they've worked so hard for. But they see this as like a crucial moment. Can the tower actually be recreated? Not their bodies, but this Invictus Games. This is a pivotal moment. Can it actually carry on? This is what they're thinking. And the Eight of Wands, that's you see up the right where you'd say it's a message going out. All's good, it's fine, the games is going on, you know, we're training with this, with that, all's good, we're looking forward to it. But this way it's fairly quiet. I think the enthusiasm for this at the moment is not where it should be, and that's coming out in the Eight of Wands in reverse. You know, as I say, they can, I wouldn't say empathize, but the things that Harry is saying on this grand scale of things, when you've seen war and you've seen death, really the bleatings of a silly prince, they can look at it like an empress, because it's so far from important in their lives, you know, when you think of all they've been through. So yes, they can be very diplomatic and very empress-like in that way, but it's affecting their games, and that is what really matters. Can these games go on? Can they actually, you know, come to fruition this year? Because they've been monumentally harmed by this, and there isn't a good message going out at the moment. Everything's very quiet at the moment. So that's basically what the athletes feel about having Harry as their figurehead. So let's just move those up a little bit. And then I wanted to know, what do they think about this, his chosen victim status? So here with the Empress, it kind of shows that, you know, well, they think it's all rather silly. They can forgive it because they've seen a lot worse. But let's go a little bit deeper. What do they think about his chosen victim status, him choosing to be a victim? What do they think about that? Oh, Christ. Okay, we've got all the reversals coming up now. We've got the Ten of Cups in reverse, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Sun in reverse. So, okay, if we go to the Ten of Cups, first of all, Ten of Cups, that is like your loving family. I think they see this as he should have so much to be grateful for. He has so much. He's got his children. He's got, you know, he's got his family. He's got his home. This is all according to Harry. I've never been happier. He's got all this. So why the victim status? This doesn't make sense to them, because how happy can you be? Your world can't be happy. It's got to be in reverse, because to have all that, to be talking about all this hate, basically, how can you be this loving family, which he says, I've never been happier? So they don't understand it, because everything is showing him to be a very unhappy at home person, a very, very insecure person in his home. And the same with the Seven of Pentacles. This is working, you know, creating and working to fruition and things, making sure that everything is done, and, you know, and then you reap the harvest. The harvest comes through, and, you know, you pick your pentacles and you've done really well. But up this way, they're thinking, you know, we're putting in all this effort and work, and we're training, and we're not sure that this is actually going to come to fruition, you know, because of the way this man is, and because of the way the games are at the moment. Are we putting in all this effort, and are we actually going to be able to perform at the Invictus Games? You know, is it actually going to go ahead? Because now there is, you know, some uncertainty, I'm sure. So, you know, is all the effort that we've put in, is it really worth it? And then we've got the Sun in reverse. It's like I said with that Tower card here, this Tower card, you know, thinking, oh my goodness, you know, we've worked so hard. Is this going to happen? And again, we've got another one of these doubtful cards, the Sun in reverse. The sun should be this way up, and it should be shining onto this event and saying, you know, the Invictus Games is coming. Everybody's worked so hard for it. Everyone's looking forward to it. But of course, you know, with the Sun in reverse, that's put it all in doubt, all in the shade. So, as far as his victim status goes, well, he obviously isn't a happy man. This is what they're thinking. He's not a happy man. He can't be, otherwise he wouldn't be doing and saying what he's doing. His world isn't as he says it is. And as far as this Seven of Pentacles in reverse goes, well, they're unhappy about his victim status because they're putting in all this work for the games, but will it actually go ahead? Will it actually happen? And the same with the sun in reverse. It's throwing a cloud on the event, and his victim mentality is throwing a cloud on this event. So let's move those ones up. So that's basically what they think about his victim status. So what do they feel about the Taliban threats? This is very, very serious if we're to believe this. And I don't see why we shouldn't believe it. But let's just see what they think. They would know more about that threat than ever I could, or ever any of us could. What do these ex-military people think about the Taliban threats? Okay, so we've got the Lovers in reverse, the Knight of Cups in reverse, and the Nine of Swords upright. So their feelings about this Taliban threat. The Lovers in reverse. Lovers doesn't mean lovers. It's that union. It's that working together. It's that project. Well, it's put it all at risk, hasn't it? It should be Harry and the athletes working together, getting this Invictus Games done, getting all the promotion out there for the wounded soldiers, and it should all be a real union of working together. Well, of course, it's not. It's not that. So this threat has really turned that relationship upside down, and it's made Harry look totally emotionally unstable. The Knight of Cups, the right way up, he's your ideal knight. He's very compassionate. He wouldn't put you in danger. He comes to the rescue, and he's very empathetic and sorts things out. But the wrong way up, he's emotionally unstable. He's not somebody that you would follow into war at all. He would be a wreck. He'd be a mess. And this is what they see of him. They see that his mental instability has caused this trouble with the Taliban. Just writing freely and writing so openly about things that he should never have opened his mouth about, spilling out his guts, basically. Those cups of emotion flying out, spilling it out, didn't really think about the consequences. And it's led to the Nine of Swords, which is just sleepless nights. I should imagine that most of these athletes are really, deeply upset about this. This is something that, everybody says that, soldiers do not do. They don't talk about things like this. And it's caused some sleepless nights because they're thinking, my God, not only has he put a target on his head, but what about us? How safe are we going to be at these games? How safe are our families when they come to watch us? So, they're not happy about this at all. They're very upset about this. And then what about being associated with him? So this goes back again to do they want him to be their figurehead? How do they feel about even being associated with him? Are they a little bit ashamed about that he is still attached to this project? Are they ashamed to be associated with him? Even though that front card, it was the Empress, and that's quite, caring energy. They care about him, but that doesn't mean to say that they agree with what he's done and that they want to be associated with him. So let's just have a look. As far as being associated with him. Okay, so Two of Pentacles, that's very much your juggling act. I think you're going to have a few that are saying, oh, Yes, we should stay with him. You're always you're never going to get 100% of people all agreeing at the same time, very, very rarely. So you are going to have some people who are going to say, look, he's taken the Invictus Games this far. He's been with it from the beginning. Let's just keep going with it. But, you know, you are going to have the other people who are just going to say, no, no, this isn't any good. And I think, to be honest with you, the balance of it, more people are going to be, no, we are ashamed to be associated with this than, you know, the other side. So, you know, that's the indecision card. But I think that more people are going to be ashamed to be associated with him. And then we have the Six of Cups. Again, the Six of Cups is like your nostalgia card, remembering back. And I'm sure they remember back to past games, because a lot of these athletes would have done more than, you know, just one game. You know, they're probably ongoing. Every year they come back and they compete and they try and, you know, improve their scores, improve their places. And, you know, they look back over past years, and I think they can see the way this games has declined. And now looking back is no longer looking back with that fond memory. Looking back is, yeah, well, last year it wasn't so good because it was just a merching opportunity. You know, it was just really a meet the wife. And this is the Harry Games rather than any focus being put on the athletes who have worked so hard. So I think now looking back in nostalgia, the nostalgia's up in the air. It's sort of, this is not what it was. Let's put it like that. And then we have Temperance in reverse. They just see it all as unbalanced. They see that sort of or almost like addicted personality, maybe addicted to alcohol, maybe addicted to other substances, that makes things unstable, untrustworthy in a way. How can you put your faith in someone who is so emotionally unstable? And we had that with the Knight of Cups here, didn't we? That unstable energy, the knight that should be this way, follow me, and you know, I have a good heart, and you know, and I have your welfare at heart, whereas this way, mentally unstable. So I think in all, these athletes are not happy about this. We got one positive card. The very first card we got was the Empress, which sort of told me that, you know, they can forgive and forget to a huge extent because of the terrible things they've seen in war. And you know, they can sort of think to themselves, you know, well, we'll give him a pass because, you know, the things that we've seen in war are nothing compared to, you know, what he is talking about is nothing compared to the death and terrible things that we've seen. And then the other card that was fairly innocuous was the Two of Pentacles. Well, you know, some of us will say, let's keep him, but most will say, no, let's get rid of him. But all the other cards were just so negative, you know. And I keep coming back to this Tower card, which was, you know, it's total ruination for this games, you know, with the Taliban and everything that's going on. These poor athletes, my heart goes out to them. I've done sports at a very high level. I used to be an ice skater and a gymnast. And all you think about is your sport, and you train, and that's, you're so focused on it. And to have all this going on in the background, and have somebody who is such a victim leading you, when Invictus means undefeated, not a victim, and have somebody who is such crybaby leading you, well, that must be devastating for them. So apart from those two cards there, which are quite understanding cards, I think the rest of it is actually, we need a new leader. We need a new leader. Let us focus on our training, on our precious, precious sports. And, you know, we need somebody who is going to be not a victim, and someone who's not going to be defeated, and who's going to, you know, lead us through this and not put a target on us. So there we go. That's my thoughts about it. And thank you very, very much to the wonderful David Starkey and Nigel Farage for discussing a little bit of this and giving me the inspiration to do this reading. Thank you. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.